So here's the deal. You're a typical average Western college student living a hedonistic lifestyle where your identity is defined by two things. The first thing being how much money is spent on media franchise branded plastic crap and brand names. The second thing being, well, what pronouns you have on your social media profile. And did I mention that you hate your parents? You work a retail job you hate, you don't get paid a lot, and there's really no future for it, especially as big corporations push automation in response to calls for $15 an hour, as woke internet political tweeters talk about how, oh, the future is going to be universal income, which you can spend on video games and Rick and Morty toys. The money you make from this you spend on video games, and this includes the Nintendo Switch, a $300 video game console with few games, but a nice flashy brand name on it. Or you're a parent buying a kid a game console so he'll quit screaming in the middle of a car trip or an 8-hour flight to use the restroom, or I want to go home, or can I play video games and watch movies? Here's the thing. There aren't a lot of games on the Nintendo Switch, but there is one game you can find only on Nintendo consoles. Mario. In this day and age where publishers try to revive sagging sales of yearly franchises with gimmicks that might or might not work, Nintendo takes the Bethesda or Rockstar route of just releasing the same game you played last gen but graphically updated and with a new name on it, and waiting for years for the hype to build up, then releasing it and watching as sales boom from this hype. At least they do with all their franchises that don't have Pokemon in the title, that is, because with Pokemon, that's like a yearly game that doesn't change, and people are burnt out on it. People just wait for the new Pokemon games to come out so that they can, they want to like go on But there is a major advantage with that business model, especially if you release the same game over and over again, but do it over a long period of time instead of each year. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel like Sonic or Call of Duty eventually did, or losing their focus trying to ape the competition like Halo did, they can just release the same game you played, and you'll forget about the last one and how much it was like the last one because you haven't been playing it, and you'll happily spend $60 to play the same game you played years ago all over again. Because it has the Nintendo logo on it and the Mario brand name on it, and it's got your favorite mascots in it. You know exactly what you're going to get when you buy Super Mario Odyssey. You won't get anything new, innovative, or revolutionary because that already happened decades ago. Instead, you'll get a game for the kids to play in the car so they can shut up, being left to their own devices. Or if you're older, you'll get a game that you can play when you're a 20-something miserable failure on antidepressants, Xanax bars, and blue Skittles, who gave up his hopes and dreams for a life of working at a big box store, being a Twitter keyboard warrior. Here's a game with the character you remember as a kid, Mario, and you can jump around on things, collect coins, and feel warm and fuzzy again as you play this same old video game you played years ago. But now it's an open world. Now it has this new feature in it. Now it's still Mario, but it's different. It's not the same anymore. Sure, there's a new feature which lets you possess enemies or objects with your hat, which sounds an awful lot like some fetish art you'd find in weird corners of the internet, but it barely adds much to the gameplay experience. Oh, and you're throwing your hat to kill your enemies. Doesn't its implementation sound a bit like Rystar or Klonoa? Yeah, I've played those before, except instead of grabbing them in this game and throwing them, you just kill them. You just throw your hat at stuff, and it kills them. And yeah, the controls are what you'd expect. They mostly work. And the only issue I had with them is that the Switch controller is a god-awful piece of that drops button inputs. And you can move around, you can move the camera with the other stick, you push buttons to jump and stuff, except the Switch controller everything up because it's a piece of controller. But, I'm going to see people in the comments saying, oh, the Nintendo Switch is a great console. You just have to do this, and you have to do that, and you have to do this, and you have to do that, and you have to do this to get it working. You gotta learn this little trick. This little trick. But yeah, it's a great console otherwise. And you gotta learn this little trick, and you gotta learn that little trick. The graphics are a typical Mario 60 frame per second graphics. But when you're docked, you'll see better graphics that look quite nice for a Mario game. I mean, it looks nice, okay? Even though the art style is quite bland at times, it still looks nice for what it is, I guess. But see, the thing is, it's a Mario game. You're not going to get some unique art style like in other platformers, like a lot of the ones that have been released on like the 360 or the Xbox One's online store, or Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. Oh, you're not going to get those interesting art styles that you'll find in some other games. But you know what you will get? You'll get the same old Mario art style that you knew you were going to get when you saw the Mario label on the box. Super Mario Odyssey is an easy game, which means that your kids won't be screaming in the car if you're an adult, or if you're a grown adult, you don't have to worry about dying, which means you can play games just like if you were 5 years old, I guess. It's an easy game. They finally ditch lives, and when you die, you lose 10 coins. And you always have as much money as that kid down the street with a Benz and a big house who went to private school, and he was loaded. His dad had a nice job, but it's a shame that he probably ended up going to college and ended up becoming a Twitter warrior who doesn't do anything productive in life and just works the life of a Burger King fry cook. Kind of sad when you think about it. Reviewing Super Mario Odyssey is like reviewing Little Caesar's Pizza because it's about as predictable as they are. You know you're going there to pay $6 for a large pepperoni pizza because you're hungry or you want to feed a family for $6. If you want to feed a whole group, you can feed them cheaply too with Little Caesar's Pizza. It's not the best pizza or anything new. It's just a goddamn $6 pizza. That isn't the worst tasting pizza around either. It just tastes generic. And the same could be said about Mario. You're not going to get lots of glitches, poor frame rates, shoehorned gay characters, or sexuality flag options. You're going to get motherfucking Mario. You're getting a game where you jump around, you hit blocks, you get coins. It's totally inoffensive, so you don't have to worry if little Jimmy's in the room. It's $60 and you've played it before, but chances are, if you're spending $300 on a console with few games that aren't ports of Wii U games, why should I argue? Because you know you're going to play the same old games because that's what this is, for better or worse. Nintendo isn't there anymore to experiment with new gameplay features or change the game. They're there to sell the same old experience you're used to and then encourage you to buy more Nintendo branded. But you know what? They do an effective job at it with the Nintendo Switch and with those Nintendo mini consoles. You know when you buy an SNES Mini what you're going to get. You know when you buy an NES Mini what you're going to get. You're going to get the same old game you played as a kid. You're going to get a game that'll make you remember those memories when you actually had potential and goals in life. Or if you're a grown adult, you can just get your little kid it if your family's more functional and say, hey, this is what I used to play as a kid. I used to play the Nintendo. I used to play Mario. This is what we had when we were a kid. We didn't have those newly fangled Xboxes and PlayStations. We had Nintendo. And that's what you get when you buy Mario. And that's all that needs to be said, gamers. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.